And finally, the one that I want to create is the circle. Now the circle is a little bit more trickier, because if you take a look at some examples online, here would be a circle. What's tricky about the circle is that it's made of different parts, and these parts are like bent tubes. There's many ways to do that, and the way that I'm going to use it is actually create the shape inside of Photoshop. You could also take this and just cut it, use any tools to cut it, but I'm going to use Photoshop. So I'm launching Photoshop, and I'm going to just create one of the tubes. I don't need all of them. Just one will do just fine. So if you think about it, to be able to do one part of one color, it's an actual, it's a circle within a circle, and it's only 1/4 of it. So again, let me do a new file, file new, and I'm going to make that file of, let's say, 500 by 500 pixels, press OK. Now that I have the file, I'm going to remove the background by deleting the background, and now I'm going to add a new ellipse. But this ellipse would start at 0, 0, and the height would be 100, or let's say the width would be 240 pixels, and the height will be 240 pixels. We'll press enter, and now we should have it anytime by just clicking there. 240 times 240 from center. Okay, here it is. Now what I could do is make it bigger by pressing Command T, and I can change its size. Now obviously I want it from the center, so what I'm going to do is click here on the link and change that so that it's perfectly centered. Now, I don't know why it says from center, but it wasn't really from the center. So if I want a perfect center, I'm going to do something different. I'm actually, there's multiple ways to do that, is to actually try to get the center by creating a grid yourself. So I can add a grid by selecting any corner and then moving things around from here. Okay, but I don't want to get too fancy. I want to do it quickly. Okay, so what I'm just going to do, just zoom in and creating an ellipse for now. All right, so that's one ellipse. And now I'm going to create another ellipse that's smaller than this one. How would I do that? Well, I can just duplicate this one by clicking on the duplicate. And then once I have a new layer, I can just press Command T to transform it at its center. And instead of being 100%, I can put 90%. Now, it might be hard to see, but there is actually two different ellipses. And what I'm going to do is take the two layers, and I'm going to take the layers and rasterize them. So layer, rasterize, all layers. Here we go. And now that I rasterized the two layers, I'm going to select the layer up top, which is the smaller one, and taking the selection tool, select it, then go to the ellipse, the layer below, and click on delete. Now I can select and remove the layer up top, and as you can see now, I have some kind of a shape that looks like the whole circle, the whole circle. But I don't want the whole circle. I just want 1/4 of it. So I'm just gonna select 1/4 of that and remove it. Now, obviously, I'm not doing it perfectly, but that seems to be okay. And do the same here. Okay, so as you can see, somewhere around here would be good. And I'm going to delete this part. And same thing, I'm going to do it on the horizontal way. Somewhat around here will work as well. And click on delete. So now I'm just left with one piece of the circle. So I'm going to press Command A to select it all, Command C to copy, and Command N to create a new one. Press OK, and now I'm going to paste it here. And I'm going to remove the background. And as you can see now, there is only the one part of the circle. And I'm going to save that. So save it as a PNG file so that we have the alpha transparency. Click on Save. And I'm going to call this one circle shape. Or quarter circle shape, so that it's easier to remember that it's just a quarter of a circle. I'm going to save it in the desktop, Now I can close Photoshop. And now I can add it to Unity. How do I add it to Unity? Well, I go and look for it here in my desktop, and it's here, quarter circle shape. I'm going to drag and drop it inside of my assets in Unity. All right. And now that I have it here, I always want to double check that it's a sprite, otherwise I won't be able to use it. So here, the quarter circle shape, inside of the inspector, it is a sprite. That's good. Otherwise, I'll have to select it.